I know the feeling. We spend all day thinking about our research, and yet very little time do we think about how we research.
But the way we behave and interact in the workplace as researchers can make all the difference to the quality of the work we produce. Nick Skinner is the founder and lead consultant of Poppyfish People Development and is fascinated by how we behave and make decisions in the workplace.
And as a regular contributor to the PEDcast, here is Nick Skinner with his tip for February.
I'm going to talk about managing relationships. If you were to open a textbook on this, you'd probably see it as stakeholder management. What I see in the scientists that I work with is that the people that do this really, really effectively have the best products at the end of the day. Their projects run smoothly. And the reason for this is that they're able to manage all the relationships in the right way for the projects that they're working on. If you think of managing relationships as juggling, you can juggle, I don't know if you can juggle, but you can juggle with 3 balls, say, fairly well, okay? Throw a 4th one in there, maybe I'll do that. If you're getting good now, if you can do 5, and then if I throw something else in there, different shape, that gets more difficult, and you're juggling all these things all the time. In our relationships, we are very used to juggling these things, and we know, therefore, which ones are the ones that we really can't drop. So I might joke about relationship with my partner or my colleagues at work or my boss. Well, actually, if my boss is a really difficult person, I'm going to be really careful about making sure I don't drop the relationship with my boss. And what really effective workers do that handle this in a great way is that they get those relationships to the point where I can juggle them really smoothly, and if I drop them, it won't smash, because if I drop the relationship and it smashes, then end of. I've got a pretty negative outcome. So the guys that do this very effectively are able to handle these relationships, and they know that if they drop one, it bounce back up again. I've caught it, I can keep juggling it, I've got away with it, kind of thing. So I look at quite a lot of relationships like that. Which relationship am I not paying attention to at the moment? And the researchers and engineers and scientists that do that effectively are able then to get the good relationship, and they're able to ask what they need of that person at the right time. So if they're searching for a collaborator, they've got that guy there already, they can manage that relationship. If they need to know what they'll have to spend their money on, they've got a contact in the guy in accounts so they can just go to and got a good relationship. They don't necessarily do it through a formal email request. They know the person well enough to stop them in the corridor and just say, oh, by the way, blah, 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 and they get a good informal outcome that way around. I've seen that from both sides of that fence, and I know that it works. Very often there is a divide between science and support services, and it's very easy to kind of look across that fence with disdain from both sides. But where that relationship is built to a strong point, actually, that flows information really neatly between the two, and you can get great support from the people who need to give you great support. These people are, generally speaking, not idiots, right? They're really quite good at what they do, and they can unlock lots of stuff for you to help you get the best out of things. Scientists are great researchers. They're great at their specialist subject. They're into biology or soils or whatever it may be they're looking into. But they're not accountants, they're not business planners, they're not HR specialists. So actually they can't be expected to do this all themselves, and neither should they want to, really. And these people, they should be surrounded by professionals who are there to provide that input. And in the scientists that I work with that have built great groups and built great networks, they've had that connection at all times, not only across those support services, but also into wider professional groups, international groups, upwards through the organisation, downwards to the tea trolley, which has just gone past, and anything in between.